students, my name is Rajat Shethia and today I am going to teach you the first poem from the Honeydew textbook, that is The Ant and the Cricket. As I have mentioned in the earlier class, this particular story, this poem has been derived from a fable. Fable is a moral story, often with animals used as characters. This particular poem, The Ant and the Cricket, it contains an idea of far-reaching significance. Usually, you might have seen a cricket or a grasshopper outside in the garden, which usually has 4 legs. But here, the author would like to refer the human being as a 2-legged cricket in real life. It means that after reading this poem, after understanding it, you, the 2-legged humans, must learn something from it and try to adapt that teachings in your life. So the poem goes like this. A silly young cricket, accustomed to sing through the warm sunny months of gay summer and spring, began to complain when he found that at home his cupboard was empty and winter has come. Here the grasshopper or the cricket has an habit of singing whenever it feels happy. And what was the time of singing? The warm sunny months of gay summer and spring. So in this particular time of summer, the cricket used to sing all along and used to enjoy the time. But instead, it should have collected some amount of food for itself, because winter is about to come. As he has mentioned here, the cricket began to complain when he found that at home his cupboard was empty and winter has come. Because he was singing all the summer, he couldn't collect or gather any kind of food for himself so that he could survive the winter. But right now, when he comes home and observes his cupboard, he finds that his cupboard is empty. He doesn't have any food in the cupboard, and in the winter he is going to starve. Not a crumb to be found on the snow-covered ground, not a flower could he see, not a leaf on a tree. So now the grasshopper, you can see here the cricket, he is right now very hungry. He is starving to death in the winter time. Crumb means a little piece of food. He is not able to find a crumb of food anywhere on the snow covered ground. So this is something normal during the winter days. The trees are going to lose their flowers as well as the leaves. As a result, the insects are not going to find any kind of food from the tree. So right now the cricket is telling to himself, oh, what will become of me? Now that he is not able to find any kind of food in the environment, he is too much worried. He is thinking, what to do now? How to fill my stomach? If I don't find food soon enough, then I am going to die due to hunger. At last, by starvation and famine made bold, all dripping with wet and all trembling with cold, away he set off to a miserly ant to see if to keep him alive he would grant. Starvation means a hunger due to which you are going to die if you don't get food. And another word here is famine, that means scarcity of food. So there will be a shortage of food in the winter season. All dripping with wet and all trembling with cold, away he set off to a miserly ant. So here the word miser means a self-centered man, the one who hoards money, who would like to collect money all to himself, and whenever someone comes to ask for any help, he is not going to help him by lending him or giving him some amount of money. He would like to keep all the money for himself. So in this particular story, ants are the misers here. So the cricket went to the miserly ants to see if the ants are able to keep him alive by granting him some amount of food. So the poem continues like this. The ant would grant him shelter from rain and mouthful of grain. He wished only to borrow, he would repay it tomorrow. So cricket's today's concern is to stay alive only for today. He is not thinking about the tomorrow and the day after tomorrow and the coming days. But somehow cricket or the grasshopper should do something in order to get out of the current situation of starvation or hunger. So it will be quite enough if the ant is going to provide some amount of food and shelter for the cricket just for one day. He wished only to borrow and he was ready to promise that he would repay it tomorrow. So the situation is that if the ant is not able to, or the ant is not ready to give food and shelter to the grasshopper or the cricket, then he must die due to starvation and sorrow. The winter season is surely going to kill the cricket. Let's continue. So here you can see group of ants working throughout the summer, and they have already collected and stored some amount of food, whatever they are going to need to run through the winter season. So the cricket went to the ants and pleaded for help to give him some amount of food and shelter. So the ants said to the cricket, I am your servant and friend, but we ants never borrow, we ants never lend. So here in this particular statement, you need to go through these two words, that is, one is borrow and second one is lend. Borrow is a procedure when you are going to take some amount of money from others, and lending is the procedure where you have some amount of money and you have to give that money to the one who is in need of it. So the words borrow and lend, they are opposite words to each other. So the ants continued to ask questions to the cricket. But tell me, dear cricket, did you lay nothing by when the weather was warm? Quoth the cricket, not I. So when the question was being asked by the ants to the cricket, did you lay nothing by, means didn't you collect anything for the coming winter? Then the cricket replied, no, I didn't collect anything for the winter. Here the word quoth is derived from an old English, that means said. So when the question was being asked by the ants, the cricket said that, or he answered that he didn't collect anything for the winter. So let's continue the poem. So here the cricket says like this, my heart was so light, that means the cricket was very happy, that I sang day and night. During the summer time it was very warm and I liked to sing all the time during the day and night, for all nature looked gay. So the cricket or the grasshopper stopped talking and the ants started. You sang, sir, you say. Go then and dance the winter away. So this statement was being told by the ants. The statement here could be considered as sarcasm. Sarcasm is the process of telling something which is going to hurt the one who is standing or sitting opposite to you. Here you could observe the statement given by the ant. You sang, sir, you say. Go then and dance the winter away. So, all the summer you didn't work at all. The ants are saying, how could you expect us to give any help to you? As you have wasted your time in the summer, now also during the winter, go, waste your time and dance the winter away. So, like this, the ants are sarcastic. Thus ending, he hastily lifted the wicket and out of the door turned the poor little cricket. So, the poet is telling that the cricket, being disappointed by the statement given by ant, was very disturbed and he went out of the door without getting anything or without getting any help from the ants. And finally, the last two statements given in this poem are the moral, what humans need to learn as well as implement in their life. Folks call this a fable. I will warrant it true. Some crickets have 4 legs and some have 2. This means that the crickets or the grasshoppers usually have 4 legs. Those are the insects. But some creatures living in this world, those are humans. Humans also need to learn from their mistakes. If you commit a mistake, you need to learn from it. That means you shouldn't repeat it in the future. You should make sure you are not going to do the same mistake anymore. So, at the end of this particular fable, which has been derived from Aesop's fables, he says that some crickets have only 4 legs and some special crickets have 2 legs. That means he is referring to humans. So, this ends the poem The Ant and the Cricket, which has been adopted by Aesop's fables. I want you all to go through this glossary and write them in your notes. I am going to provide the answers for these exercise questions in the coming classes, that is working with the poem. So, you can see here 4 exercise questions are there. They are very easy. I am sure you can solve it by yourself, but anyhow I am going to provide the answers for these questions in the future. So, as discussed in the earlier classes, in the first chapter Honeydew, in the beginning the publishers had given some dates, 6 different dates. Here they have mentioned what actually happened on those particular dates. For example, they have given here statement number A, American Declaration of Independence. Statement number B, 2 famous scientists in the world, that is Wilbur Wright and Orville Wright. We popularly know them as Wright brothers. They made the first flight remaining in the air for 12 seconds and covering 120 feet. You may know Wright brothers were the first who were successful in building an aircraft. So, statement number C is the Hiroshima Day. An atomic bomb was dropped on Hiroshima in Japan on the particular date given in the first page of this chapter. Then 4th one, I had already told about this when I started the first class, that is 30th January 1948, assassination or the killing of Mahatma Gandhi, the father of the nation. Then 5th one is Yuri A. Gagarin became the first human to orbit the earth. And 6th one, Neil Armstrong became the first human to set foot on the moon. It was the very first step of a human being on moon. In the next class, I am going to start the first short story from the another textbook, that is It So Happened. So this particular textbook has been prescribed as an English supplementary reader for the 8th students. So in this textbook, similar to Honeydew, you may find some publishers information, some forewords, then you have declarations from NCERT, also notes for teachers, and here so the preamble of Indian Constitution goes like this: we, the people of India, having solemnly resolved to constitute India into a sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic republic, and to secure to all its citizens justice, social, economic, and political, liberty of thought, expression, belief, faith, and worship, equality of status and of opportunity, and to promote among them all fraternity, assuring the dignity of the individual and the unity and integrity of the nation. In our Constituent Assembly, this 26th day of November 1949, do hereby adopt, enact, and give to ourselves this Constitution. And after this, they have mentioned some textbook development committee members' names, acknowledgements. Here you can find the contents. In the next class, I am going to teach you the first short story from this textbook, that is, How the Camel Got His Hump. Till then, keep learning and stay earning knowledge. Thank you.